maybe you can kind of elaborate just a little bit more on it as well, is one of the biggest business lessons you've kind of learned being KO, being like you said, getting into fashion, but also over and above that, being running a label. What are some of those things that you've kind of learned and taken back and been like, yo, if I didn't get into this darkness or whatever bad situation that you were in, you wouldn't have learned something to be a better man you are today?
Yeah, bro, there was so many lessons. But I mean, if I can speak from an executive standpoint, is for instance, like Cashtime was largely built on brotherhood and it was just love all around the building, right? And I was emotionally invested in the individuals. So when things fall apart, you're expecting for people to also take up for you, the same way that you were just as invested from an emotional standpoint. And when you don't get that, bro,
It hurts.
that shit, you know what I mean? Tough, you feel me? But you grow from it, So now coming into a new situation, you smarter now, like, and a little jaded, of course. But like, you getting into it, you're like, all right, cool. I am your boss. You don't come to the crib. You don't have to call me. You don't have to do X, Y, Z. Do what you need to do, and it ends there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If you need money for a taxi, don't call me. You feel me?
There are channels that you can reach out to, but you just don't come to straight to the chairman's office.
Yes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how now the new situation, and this is not me trying to portray myself as like
Principal.
you know what I mean? Like as a
mogul.
as a rigid individual. This is something I had to learn. Like I had to unlearn the emotional attachment to individuals because just by my upbringing, for instance, right? My parents are like, they probably have the most annoyingly giving hearts, right? At any given time in my life, in my family's life, there's some extended family member that's cribbing at my house, even at
At this present moment.
You know what I mean? And like they are like super old, but they still someone that they still housing, under their roof, and that's just the power of giving and stuff, right? So I learned that. So, for instance, when I met my E and Dugza, I almost kind of felt the same thing at their house. I'd go and stay there, for days on end, and. So when the tear gas thing worked out, and then things started popping out, and then we started doing the same thing as well. Now we want to still apply that same mentality in a business spectrum. So all the way to Cashtime, I wasn't supposed to even assign a portion of that label to anyone. I could have just said, this is my shit, and we're going to run it this way. But no, because I come from that background.
Sharing it.
Sharing. And then unfortunately, you only wake up late that, oh shit, this wasn't actually the right move. And I had like one of the guys that's like super hard on me, Caesar in it, right? This nigga was like,
I can even see his face. I can see his face.
and like, what do you need these guys for? What do you need this person and that person for? Like, you are on a roll on your own. Why the fuck do you care about what's going? Niggas need to step up and hold down the fort on their own. And I've always tried to talk that whole thing out of him. Like, nah, fam, I know that's you. That's how you were brought up. Possibly, I was raised different,
Sure.
And then when shit, hits the fan, it's like,
told you so.
That's the worst phone call to receive.
you know what I mean? So, and by nature, I had to learn things my own way. Like even with me trying to come across as slightly more rigid, I still have a weak spot for a whole lot of bunch of shit.
It's showing in the videos. I mean, you haven't had niggas in the videos for a minute. I mean, my E is a prevalent fixture now.
Yes, sir.
And also a feature in the songs, and not just a body in the videos.
Yeah.
How has that building that bridge of understanding from all this time and everything that happened, Yenze Genjani, and how has it been for you? Because that in itself is taxing. what you're talking about now is things we could see. But building that relationship for us to be able to see my in the video, for you to give him that verse, for you to reach out to him and be a part of this kind of world project, there are things that happen behind the scenes that we couldn't see.
Facts. So, because I'm talking to you guys, you obviously gonna, get a young exclusive.
Okay.
A young.
You feel me? So 2016.
Yeah.
Right. Sure you remember. Sure Dims remembers as well. We used to live in the same house.
Yeah.
Myself and my E.
Yeah.
And 2016, I was like, all right, cool. I think I've collected what I wanted. I want to go buy my own house now. We were not equally ready. I mean, you must remember, this is coming from this kind of republic. I'm on the road. It's crazy, so the bag is on steroids. So I'm like, all right, cool. With what I got, I want to go buy my own house. But I didn't just wake up and decide that maybe the month before. I mentioned it the year before. I'm like, yo, so around such and such a time, this is what I'm about to do. Just me as a man trying to, seed the idea that niggas need to sort of kind of prepare themselves as well and see what they can do when that time comes. And being brothers and having been around each other for so long and having supported each other, when that time came and I'm moving into a bigger house than the one that we were living in, and I felt like I needed a time just to be by myself.
For sure.
So it didn't register well. Now looking back, it didn't register well maybe in his mind, or because I mean, even my little brother, who is AKA's road manager, he was also in there with us.
Yeah.
So, and then he was actually a roadie to my E. There was a strain in the relationship by default, because niggas probably were just thinking, all right, cool. Niggas know we ain't ready like that. So why the fuck would you go by a situation and yet you just want to be all by yourself over there? What are niggas supposed to do, But I think to me, it was something that I was also starting to learn that all right, cool. Sometimes, and I'm not saying this in a harsh way, you gotta snap that umbilical. You feel me? For men or for anyone to grow into and develop into the people that they actually supposed to be in life, as tough as it is, you gotta do it. So when that happened, because this is 2016, right? So when that happens, I move out, the crib is sold, and then same time, the Cashtime thing is happening. The debacle is happening, right?
Shit.
So there was a time for the first time with my E, I had a nasty convo on the phone, because now niggas is just even my brother, these niggas just on my phone, just giving it to me, bro. Oh shit. So now I'm starting to, I'm like, what? So I'm a dick? You feel me? And from a place of love, it did feel that way for a little bit. And then I'm looking at this Cashtime situation playing out the way that it was. I'm like, oh, damn, is that my karma? You know what I mean? But I had to stick through it. So that's when I literally started just being a loner, for real. All right, cool. It's a perfect opportunity for me to deal with this shit. The world is, it almost kind of feels like it's caving in.
Sure.
Everything is falling apart and motherfuckers is peeling off. I'm left alone. All right, cool. Let me go through it. Let me stick to it, because this is what God, maybe this is the road that he created for me. And those 2 years, 2016, 2017, that was me just rediscovering myself, all by myself, dog. When I go to the studio, the only person that's there is Tulu.
Yeah, he's a trusted one. He's the next question that's gonna come up. Most
You know what I mean?
trusted, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only guy that's in the studio, to this day. I don't want niggas in the studio when I record. Don't come. Don't call me. unless you got a feature.
Sure.
You smell me? So I've always just practiced some type of social hygiene just to avoid relying on other people, because this one I got to actually realize, like, born alone, die alone for real, my nigga. You are all you got. So I'd say, yeah, the toughest thing for me was going through that situation with my E, and then later realizing that, all right, cool, so niggas do need my help, you know? So when the kind of war situation started opening up again, or like actually before even that, like when things started opening up again for KO, and you know, now it's cool to listen to KO again, you know?
Did you feel blacklisted?
Not blacklisted. I mean, the media hasn't, I don't feel like the media had anything against me per se, you know? I was still getting the support, but like, I just felt like I was tainted as a man on the streets. You know, the perception, I couldn't shake that off. See, that's another thing. Like, these days, that's why you see a lot of niggas when shit happens, because it's easy for things to just snowball and turn into some other shit, right? True. The whole humble card, a rumor pops off on the net, and you just want to keep quiet about it because you're just thinking it'll die out. Nah,
Not today.
These days, that shit sticks, my nigga. You feel me? So that's what I did when that whole thing was happening. Yo, KO's a dick. Niggas are leaving because he doesn't want niggas to put out music, this, that, and the third. And we just kept quiet. And as even with the PR savvy that niggas had, I didn't apply myself. You know what I mean? And I think maybe it's because the social media thing. Maybe, you know, I mean, I learned the whole PR thing pre-social media. Sure. You feel me? So like, I'm thinking the internet is, all right, nah, this is just like some trolling bullshit. It's going to die out. And then that shit ends up sticking. You know, I mean, you see how some of the niggas handled, you know, the situations these days, you know, like the euphonics, like right in the heat of the moment. You know, there's these tweets, a black tweet is going like this, going like that. And this nigga is right in there, my nigga. You know, with the rebuttals, you know?
Coffee too.
I'm so glad you went in it. Because sometimes you just like, put your phone down. What are you doing? Oh, no.
Damn.
You feel me? So I think just some people, obviously, like when you handle shit like that sometimes, I'm not saying you need to do, obviously, like the euphonic situation. I mean, if you are able to put out maybe like a press release right in the heat of the moment, you are able to, you know, shake the tree a little bit. But like total science and waiting for the shit to die down, and then like years late or like months later or weeks later, and then you want to put out a statement, it's already late, because some people are actually not even
checking out for that no more.
No one gives a fuck like that. Like you put out some shit trying to rectify. No. But like if you're doing it while the shit is trending, so when motherfuckers click on that hashtag, your shit pops up too.
You did it though. Once.
Oh, of course I did.
For that, when people were talking about the
of course.
loss of weight and attributing it to HIV, you were like, fuck no.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
And you went for the test.
That's a bad stigma. You needed to speak up. I'm glad you did at that point, because wow.
It's crazy how people went there with that, you know?
Yeah.
I also want to say, dude, were you finished, fam?
Oh, I was going to wrap it up by coming back to the MAI thing. So when things started, you know, opening up for me again as an artist and as a brand, it was natural for me to reach back out and be like, yo, you're my guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's the first person that embraced me when I moved up to Joburg. So by default, whether I like it or not, that's gonna be my guy.
In the streets, there's a code to that.
Yes,
you
sir.
know?
Yes,
you gotta do something about that.
You feel me? So, you know, that's why he's still in the picture, basically. That's why I was trying to get into.
Nice, cousin.
Yeah.